Good evening. You are tuned into WRAS Atlanta and WRAS HD1 and HD2 Atlanta. This is Album 88. Tonight is the second installment in the MTM Review, the show where we round up everything going on with Georgia State University's very own student-run record label, music distribution company, and sync house, MTM Standard. My name is Wesley Barrett, and I will be your host for tonight's show. Tonight's first guest will be none other than Ferg Berserk. Ferg Berserk is a trap metal artist who is going to be releasing his next single with MTM next week, titled Who Gon' Stop Us? We'll also be playing a special preview of the song. Later on in the show, our second guest will be Channing Gottemaker, also known as Stargirl, who is the current marketing director for MTM, and sat down with us to discuss how they balance running marketing for the label with also developing their own artistry. Before we get into the core of the show, though, we have a couple housekeeping things to get out of the way first. First off, this program is produced in partnership with MTM Standard Music Group, Georgia State University's student-run record label and sync house. Some portions of this program may be graded schoolwork for students in the College of the Arts. Opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Album 88 or the College of the Arts. For more information on our continued commitment to editorial independence in all of student media, please visit mtmstandard.com/WRAS. Also, side note, that link, mtmstandard.com/WRAS, can also be used to learn more about the show and re-listen to past episodes or episodes you may have missed. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always contact the station during business hours at 404-413-9727 or 404-413-WRAS, or with questions about this show specifically, you can send an email to me at wes7629@gmail.com. Once again, my email is wes7629@gmail.com. Second, we have a quick message from the American Marketing Association. The American Marketing Association, or AMA, at Georgia State is a community for students with an interest in marketing, data analytics, branding, consulting, and content creation. AMA provides members with the opportunity to hear from industry professionals and create an extensive network of professional marketing contacts for future career endeavors. If interested, visit them on PIN or on Instagram at AMA Georgia State. All right, with all of that out of the way, first off, we're going to be starting with MTM Happenings, a segment just about what's going on with MTM and, well, what y'all out there can do to hop on the bandwagon. First off, I want to give an update on the shows MTM has at Student Center East. 2 weeks ago, on February 1st, was the second in our Student Center East concert series with the artists of Kelsey Dog, Haru, and Stargirl. These concerts are produced in collaboration between MTM's booking department and students in the concerts and touring management class, and are fully produced and performed by students. The next one at Student Center East will be on March 7th from 12:30 to 2 p.m. by the Panda Express. Afterward, we'll be transitioning back to the Broad Street Boardwalk series, which will also be on select Thursdays from 12:30 to 2 on the Broad Street Boardwalk by Adderhold. All of these shows are free and open to the public, so come out and enjoy your lunch with some live music while simultaneously supporting artists here at Georgia State. Second, I'm excited to announce the return of MTM's annual Sync Conference. When I'm not working on the show or Cherry Blossom Breeze here at WRAS, I'm also the Sync Director at MTM, so this announcement is very near and dear to me. For those of y'all unfamiliar, music synchronization is the process by which songs are picked up by TV shows, movies, advertisements, etc., for use in said production. The people who choose these songs are called music supervisors, and this conference will be a time that many music supervisors come here from all across the country in order to hear music produced by Georgia State students. This is an exciting time for artists in that a song played in a film or TV show can not only be a great source of revenue for the artist, but also a fantastic stepping stone to kick off their career. We've actually already gotten a number of songs placed in some TV shows and movies, so don't miss this opportunity. If you're a GSU artist who's interested in submitting their music, please send an email to mtmstandardsync@gmail.com for more information. With all of that out of the way, I think it's time to introduce our first guest on tonight's show. That guest is Ferg Berserk. Ferg Berserk is a trap metal artist hailing from East Atlanta and is also currently a junior here at Georgia State. Ferg has already been making waves around GSU and is well known for his dramatic and engaging performances, and he'll be releasing a single titled Who Gon' Stop Us with MTM next Friday, February 23rd. Bryan Gallegos sat down with Ferg to hear more.
Hey, welcome back to MTM Review. This is Bryan Gallegos, and I'm joined with
Ferg Berserk.
All right, let's get started. So when did you start doing music? Is it something you always had a passion for, or did you just start falling into it?
Growing up, I always loved music, but I never was a musically gifted person.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really until 2019, 2020 when I actually started music. So about 4 years ago now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I really started getting into it. And at first, I just dipped my feet in a little bit, but now, yeah, I guess I'm doing it.
Now that you're doing full-fledged projects.
Yeah.
So, how did that shift come about to your earlier music, and now before it was Fatboy Ferg, now it's Ferg Berserk. How does that how did that shift happen?
So yeah, man, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just trying a bunch of different stuff, and I kind of did it as a joke almost at the beginning. But then when I actually discovered wow, this is something that I want to do for real, I got way more serious about it and started thinking about what kind of music I wanted to put out and what I actually wanted to say as an artist. And the more I delved into that, the more I realized okay, I'm not just a rapper. That's not my sound. It's not just rap. Growing up, I always listened to a bunch of hardcore and metal music and stuff. And so when I started really diving into music for real, both introspectively and what I wanted to put out there, yeah, I decided to blend the two. And so
that's what we have today.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your past work and your current work? What's one of your favorite songs you worked on? Maybe what's a song that you don't really like anymore that you used to make, or something like that?
Not only in the beginnings of my career, but also up until now, I'm always learning. I'm always improving. Yeah, I'm always working to get better. One of my biggest fears is getting comfortable and getting complacent, because I always want to be improving upon anything that I do. So in terms of my favorite song is actually the song that I'm getting ready to drop in a few weeks. That's my favorite song to date. Unless if we're talking about some songs that I have planned for future releases. Yeah, that's it's called Who Gon' Stop Us. So that's my favorite song I'm working on. In terms of what's out, I'll probably say Go Berserk.
Yeah.
Go Berserk is probably my favorite song of what's out, just because I feel like it perfectly embodies what I was going for. When I took a specific genre of rap, I took crunk music, and I took a specific style of metal, that metalcore kind of sound. And me and my producer really worked on it, fused it together, and I think we got a good project. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that definitely sounded like a I mean, I guess a piece of just love and just care worked into that. So
right.
Yeah,
I love that song.
So what are your general inspirations from your music?
So my number one artist is Juice WRLD. Always. Yeah. But then Avenged Sevenfold is my favorite band, so I draw a lot of inspiration from them. People like Denzel Curry, people like Young Thug, who also draw different influences from other genres as well. Those are a couple, yeah.
Right, yeah. So when did you joining MTM come about? When you're coming to Georgia State, you were like, okay, I want to join MTM and do music, or how did that go about?
So I took about a year, maybe a year and a half off of school. I originally went to school for accounting.
Oh God.
Yeah. But then, that didn't work out. I hated it. And so in that time off, that's actually when I started doing music. And I was like, okay, it's probably advantageous for me to go back to school and actually study how to do this stuff, because I was trying to learn how to produce. I was trying to learn how to mix myself, and that's something that college education could really help with. So I was already doing music outside of school. When I joined the school, it just so happened I joined at the right time, because that's when MTM was just getting started.
Right.
And so that's how I joined, yeah.
Nice. So how does branding yourself come about in meetings and whatnot? What does that look like?
To tell the truth, I'm really just being myself, you know? I feel like that also had a lot to do with how I discovered like what type of music that I wanted to make and what type of music I wanted to put out there. Is like, man, I can't just act like anybody else. You know, there's so many copycats, and there's so many people trying to be something that they're not, and that's kind of what led me to music in the first place. You know, I didn't want to be an accountant.
Right.
I was just yeah, right. Like I was just trying to like do something that I thought would make me happy, but like really just like being myself. And so branding wise, I mean, any room that I step into, I'm just always myself.
That's always just authentic self.
Yeah.
Nice. So if you were to make a playlist of like music that inspire you, know, what would that playlist consist of?
Okay. So my favorite artist is Juice WRLD, right?
Right.
So you know that I'm talking about the unreleased.
Yeah, of course.
You know I gotta talk about the unreleased.
So this is a SoundCloud playlist. I'm assuming.
It's probably gonna be a SoundCloud playlist. I'm gonna throw in a couple. One song that I always listen to like give me like inspiration, like right before I'm like hitting the studio, if I need like some sort of like reminder, like my motivations, is Inner Peace by Juice WRLD. It's unreleased, but that's one that I throw on. I'd say Unbound by Avenged Sevenfold. That's a good one. Man, I need to pull out the Spotify.
No, pull it out.
Yeah,
man.
I got to pull out the Spotify. Oomp's Revenge by Trippie Redd. Crazy But True by Future. That's just like a super inspirational song to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are a couple.
Okay, neat.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about the song that you have up and coming.
Okay, yeah. So it's called Who Gon' Stop Us, performed by me. It was produced by a producer. He goes by Cass Go Crazy. He's part of a producer collective called Neela World. He's a super dope guy, super chill. Like, you meet him in person and you wouldn't think he's like the hotshot that he is. You know, you wouldn't think, because he's super like low key, super mellow, super humble, right? But I heard his beats and they were insane,
right?
Man. I was like, I gotta work with this dude. So I met him, you know, he sent me a couple beats. I was like, these are so hard. I was like, yeah, I gotta hop on these and I gotta make some fire. A couple months later, when I finally finished all the mixing and stuff, yeah, I came out with Who Gon' Stop Us. I came out with another song that's going to be released later on this year. But that's how it kind of came about. And really, man, like just the energy of the song, like that's where all the lyrics and stuff came from. I was like, man, this gives me hype. This gets me pumped up.
That energy.
I feel like I want to break something.
Right.
And so that's literally like the first line of the first line of the song is, I feel like I want to break something. But yeah.
So what does the studio process look like? You know what I mean? From the conception of the song that you want to make to making the final product.
So my songwriting process is unique to every song that I make. A lot of the songs I'm in there working with the producer. A lot of times a producer sends me something and I like it and I write to it. A lot of songs I've written the lyrics first and then taken it to a producer to make a instrumental around it. And so this song was one of the ones where I just met a really dope producer who really caught the vibe and sent me the beat, and I was in the studio just listening to it and I was like, oh, I wrote those lyrics on the spot. I was just feeling it.
Right.
Yeah, I was just feeling it, man. And not too long after that, just took it to the studio, went in there screaming and stuff. And
nice.
Yeah.
About getting that producer, did you reach out to him personally, or was it something that MTM set up for you? How is MTM basically involved in your career?
On that particular song, it was just circumstance, man. Just being in Atlanta, you know, there's so much opportunity. So I was literally at a party and somehow it came up that we both did music. So that's how I met him. As far as this song goes, I think most of this, I don't think in its production MTM was super involved. Yeah, they were involved in other songs such as like Bank from my previous EP. Producer and engineer here, his name's Corbin, or he goes by the artist name Ego. He worked on that one with me. Yeah, I had several like Georgia State engineers work on my my EP, but for this song, this one was largely outside. Yeah,
outside source. Nice. Going back to what you said about, you know, Atlanta finding like that talent here, is that why you chose to come here in particular, or was it just happenstance? Like, you know.
Oh well, I'm from Atlanta, so and I really don't see myself going nowhere but but Atlanta. I love the city. I guess I was just blessed to be in the city, to grow up in the city and be in an area full of opportunity.
Is there any artists here particularly that you want to work with as well, like in the city?
I mean, Free Thug.
Real.
Yeah, I mean,
Get him
free,
out.
Yeah, free Thug, man. Free Thug. Yeah, Thug. I mean, like, I love to work with a lot of like local artists. And I do reach out to a lot of local artists and stuff, especially Georgia State students as well, since we right here, we all want to get our careers going, want to build something, want to see something improve. I'm actually, I wonder if I should even talk about this, but I am working on starting a band with another Georgia State student as well. And so y'all got something to look forward to around like November this year.
Nice. Okay, we can't
Yeah.
wait for that. So when it comes to performing at venues or places like that, is that something that you get used to over time, or like how does that look?
So I did my first performance last year.
At the Internet Bando?
Oh, that was not my first one. That was my second one, actually.
Faulty sources.
Yeah, no, that was my second one. My first one was actually here.
Really?
Yeah, with MTM actually. They were looking for a performance slot to be filled because I think like last minute someone couldn't make it, and so they hit me up like the night before, like 2 nights before, and were like, "Hey, can you perform?" And this was when my only song out was Outrage, and so I was like, "Oh, okay, like I guess so." And you know, I had no idea how to perform. I was nervous as all get out, but I went up there and it felt good to just be on stage. And a lot of people were telling me like, "That was your first performance? Like, oh my God, like you did so good. Like you were moving around the stage, didn't like stand in one spot." And I was like, "Oh, like this is cool." And so performing with the Internet Bando, I love them boys, man. Shout out Dio. Shout out all them boys, man. Yeah, that was amazing. And over time, you do get used to being on stage. You do get used to, you know, it's your job to put on a show.
Yeah.
Regardless of the people out there are messing with you or if they not messing with you, your job is to put on a show. If they're not feeling you, that's on you to go out there and do your thing and get them to feel you, you know? So yeah, that's how I kind of look at it. Is I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna give it my all, regardless if it's 2 people or if it's 200 people. You know.
So the infamous chair video. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
was that for them or was that for a different thing?
Yeah, that was with MTM. So that was with the Boardwalk series.
Yeah.
And you know, I love my colleagues and my peers and everything, but you know, my music is very niche.
Right.
It's very aggressive. So you know, a lot of people out there, you know, they're out there enjoying their lunch. You know, people are taking their lunch. They're on meetings or whatever, and you know, they hear like some singers.
Right.
They might hear like a cool little band out there playing. They're like, okay, cool. If I'm out there and I'm out there screaming and moshing, you know, yeah, it's gonna be a little chaotic. So I was like, man, how do I do this so that, you know, I'm not looking like a lunatic on campus? You know, it's actually like a cool experience for everybody. So bam, I hit up all my homies. I was like, we gotta pull up deep. We gotta pull up deep. We gotta take over this block.
We have the whole thing for ourselves.
Yeah. We just gotta take it over, make it our event. And so
Nice.
instead of like, who is this guy out here screaming?
Right.
It's like, yo, who's this out here screaming?
Right.
So,
It's the mood. Yeah.
Right. and so yeah, I was like, man, I'm gonna go to Goodwill. I'm gonna find some cheap chairs, and I'm gonna walk out here, and I'm gonna put these things in the air, man.
Chairs plural, like there was multiple chairs.
Oh yeah, chairs plural.
Nice.
Chairs plural.
Nice. So
yeah.
perhaps in the future when you do performances and stuff, would you have things around to break, or like what's a Ferg Berserk performance gonna look like?
Man, you might just have to pull up to a show and
Well,
find
hopefully,
out.
yeah. Hopefully
You
we
might
do
just
pull
have
up.
to, yeah.
Wow. So earlier you mentioned about working with producers such as Ego, Crash Go Crazy, and others. How does that process look like with you and the producer? You know what I mean?
It definitely depends on who I'm working with,
Mhm.
you know, because again, every artist has their own sense of individuality. They have their own way of going about things, and then even depending on the song, there's different situations where I'll take the lead or they'll take the lead, or different processes that go on there. I'll say one of the biggest influences in how I got to where I am today is a producer. He goes by the name of Sunshine. Now he's got his own band, and he's really launching his own career right now. So shout out that boy. That man taught me probably 70% of everything I know about music. From when I first started to learn how to play guitar, it was largely due to being able to work with him on our projects, to just being familiar with the terminology, learning like what like an EQ is, or learning like the difference between like Ableton and FL Studios and all that, you know. That man was so influential in my career as an artist, and he produced 2 of the tracks off of So Much to Scream About, my EP. He produced Go Berserk. I probably would not be here where I am so quickly if it was not for him. Raylo, good friend of mine, man. He also plays bass with me in the band that we're working on. He produced Sharks and Barracudas. We have plenty of unreleased tracks that we're looking forward to release. He's super avant-garde when it comes to his music taste. He does a lot of like hyper pop and like super techno such, which isn't my wheelhouse, but I do love that it gets me out of my comfort zone. It encourages me to like try different things, which I love about the process.
So, just with the sound you have in general, what did your parents think about it when you presented it to them? You know what I mean?
Listen, my parents love me to death. Literally, I think they were just happy that I found something that I liked. And at first, I didn't even show them my music. I think somehow like my cousin showed my grandmother who showed my parents my music is what happened. But when they heard it, they were like, yeah, like I actually like it. I kind of dig it. So yeah.
Neat. So just to basically wind down, is there anybody you would like to shout out or any special thank yous?
Shout out my parents, man. I love them to death. They support me and everything. Shout out Sunshine. Shout out that boy Dio and Internet Bando. Love them boys. Shout out MTM Standard and all the people that I met at Georgia State. Absolutely. Shout out Raylo. Dope producer, dope DJ, dope friend. Man. Shout out all my people. They know who they are.
Nice. Also, any socials that you want to plug real quick?
So I am Ferg Berserk. That's FERGBER. Don't forget that R.
Never forget
BERSERK on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, everything. If you're looking for my Instagram or my TikTok, it's going to be at FERG_BERSERK.
Well, thank you for being here at MTM Review. We hope to just see more about you and hope to keep listening to you.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Blah. This is MTM Review on album 88. If you're just now tuning in, what you just heard was an interview with GSU trap metal artist Ferg Berserk, who will be releasing Who Gon Stop Us next week with MTM Standard, GSU's student-run record label. We actually have a short preview of Who Gon Stop Us. If you like what you hear, you can pre-save the song on Ferg's Instagram at Ferg_Berserk. Without further ado, here is a very special sneak peek of Ferg Berserk's next single, Who Gon Stop Us.
You know I get busy, ain't no pity for broke. Even on rainy days, I am a cannon, get up to the top, to the top, to the top. Growing up medical, smoking up vegetables, easy shot, just shot, shot. Keep it 100, a camel 100. Either way, I'ma just get to the guap. Yo, either way, I'ma just get to the guap. Go berserk, go berserk, go berserk, yo, yo, go berserk, go berserk, go berserk, yo, yo, go berserk, go berserk, go berserk, yo, yo, go berserk, go berserk, go berserk, go berserk, go berserk, yo. Go berserk, go berserk, go berserk, yo, yo, go berserk, go berserk, go berserk, yo, yo, go berserk, go berserk. I get my I ain't just talking dog, yeah, the bite mess with bark. I'ma hit it at the park in the light or the dark. If there's blood in the water, then you get slaughtered. This was a barracuda to a shark. If I got a chance, I'ma take it. Do not do a youth all the time I was wasted. All the talent I was wasting, the mind I was wasting. Spent the whole day getting stoned and getting wasted. Trying to find escape from the decisions I was making. My intentions was all great, but my actions were mistaken. The pressure took its grip and I was caught up in the matrix. Pill after pill, I'm surprised at how I made it. To live to tell the story, cause of me, lots are taken. But for now, I got my voice and my words to make a statement. Through the trials and tribulations, I'll keep on till I'm the greatest. And I'll pop 'em if they ever try to take me. On things too small, I'm in it for the long haul. Till my last stand falls, even then I'ma crawl. When my back against the wall, it won't be my last call. Cause I swear I give my all. I ain't just talking dog, yeah, the bite mess with bark. I'ma hit it at the park in the light or the dark. If there's blood in the water, then you getting slaughtered. This was a barracuda to a shark.
Welcome back to MTM Review on album 88. What you just heard was Sharks and Barracudas by GSU artist Ferg Berserk. Earlier in the show, we also played a very special preview of his upcoming single, Who Gon Stop Us, releasing next Friday, February 23rd. If you liked what you heard, you can pre-save the single on Ferg's Instagram at Ferg Berserk. Don't forget the R in Berserk. Before we go to our next guest, we have a quick message from Aid Atlanta. Aid Atlanta is an organization that provides support to HIV-positive people, testing and education about HIV, and other sexually transmitted infections. Their anonymous AIDS and STI info line provides accurate, current, and comprehensive information to callers at 800-551-2728 and online at aidatlanta.org. And as always, with any comments, questions, or concerns, you can call the station during business hours at 404-413-9727. That's 404-413-WRAS. Or if you would like to contact this show specifically, you can email me at wes7629@gmail.com. Again, that email is wes7629@gmail.com. All right, our next guest for tonight is MTM Standard's marketing director, Channing Gottemaker. Channing is from Marietta, Georgia, and is currently a senior in the music management program here at Georgia State. When they're not working with MTM, they also release music under the name Stargirl. I actually had the pleasure of seeing them perform live at a couple of recent shows, and let me tell you, not only are they a great person to have on the team here at MTM, they're also an amazing performer and artist. Bryan Gallegos sat down with Channing to see how they juggle it all.
Hey, this is Bryan with MTM Review, and today we are joined by
Channing.
also known as Stargirl. So how long have you been with MTM?
So I started my MTM journey last semester, so at the beginning, like August, September of 2023. And honestly, I wasn't supposed to be in the class that is around MTM Standard, but Ben Jonas had been in one of my classes because our other professor was out, and he was like, you guys should sign up for this class and get involved. And I thought it sounded cool. And I was like, I want to pretend, but not pretend, do the real thing. I want to do the real thing and see what's happening and have a really hands-on experience before I graduate.
Nice. Are you a senior now?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
I am graduating in May. Go Panthers.
So did you join MTM as an artist or as a marketing director?
So I joined just as I didn't even know what I was joining as. We kind of just were all peers. And then I kind of have always had a niche in marketing. So then when we when they announced that we were going to do kind of leadership titles, I wanted to be involved in that. And so I joined as a marketing director, marketing person, and not as an artist. So more business side.
Okay.
You know?
So what goes into being a marketing director?
So it's a great question, and there's so much I could get into because everything is marketing, is what we always say. Like, you're always marketing yourself, always marketing the program, marketing our artists, and like that's how you get your name out and, you know, get people to eyes on your product. And so marketing is like, it's me, but there's also like many other people involved in this. Like, we have a PR director, and we're working heavily with press and promotions. I also have a digital marketing director. So mine is kind of more broad, but the digital marketing director is more working with like the website, working on Facebook ads, and like how much ad spend we're going to do for each artist. Where for me, I feel like I'm more working on the specific strategies of each artist and MTM themselves as a brand on how to best get eyes on them, if that makes sense.
So so another way you could say is you look over all basically marketing that MTM does?
Yeah. And like, we build teams around artists, and we consider MTM as the brand itself as an artist. And so in those teams, there's people who have more stronger suits in marketing. And so I'm like helping guide them.
So when you first joined, did you know what you were doing?
I had no idea what I was getting myself into, honestly. We kind of were really starting to get our foot on the ground, like in a system. So I thought that I knew what I was getting myself into, but I didn't. But the person who had previously like kind of sat in the role as marketing director, his name is Barrett. He kind of taught me a lot of the stuff that I had to do. Like, we run a superphone, which is like digital text marketing. He taught me a lot of the ins and outs of that. Taught me like, okay, when you get a release, here are the things that we can do immediately. You know, just like a gist. And so it's kind of more of a learning as we go process, because especially this semester, we're doing the system differently than we did last time. And I think it's working really well, but it's also like we learning every day. I'm constantly going to my professors being like, I don't know, you know, like, we learned about this. I've learned about this throughout my career at GSU, and we've learned about it in like a incubator, if you know what I mean. But like doing it in a real sense, it's like, okay, do it more like personally, I don't even know how to explain. But it's much more like specific to these specific scenarios rather than the general thing that you learned about this promotion strategy or this street team thing. It's like more fine-tuned, if that makes sense.
So let's say you're marketing a talent or multiple talents.
Okay.
Is there a specific formula you guys use for each and every one of them, or is it different for each artist depending on their sound, how they present, et cetera, et cetera?
So it kind of depends on what the artist needs from us. So some artists that we have on our catalog already had teams built around them and already had people doing things that we could have been doing. Or sometimes they're not released. They've already released music, but they want our help. So it kind of depends on the artist's situation. But I would say that in a general sense, with artists that are like, I'm going to release a song through MTM, we kind of have a sort of basic formula of like, there's certain times, obviously, that we're running on a schedule of at least 6 weeks. And so we have all this like basic checklist that like we should be doing for every artist, or that we want to be able to do for every artist. And so we need to know their goals and like what's attainable for us and for them. So it just kind of depends.
What do you enjoy most about your role?
I really like working with people because in my like artist land world, I've always been really like in a cocoon and not collaborative with a bunch of people. But I feel like with business sides of things, I know so much from everything that I've learned here through my program at music management at GSU that like I feel so much more able to stand on my 2 feet and like working with other people that are also standing on their own 2 feet in their sense of whatever they're working on. So the collaborative nature of like all the like the A&R person, the president, the PR person, the production people, like I really like the way that like we all want to come together for this like one vision for these artists. But also I think my favorite part is like getting a check off on something that like I hadn't ever checked off before. I'm blanking on what that could even be necessarily right now, but like we're gonna get a banner on the CMI big board, and like that's been a checklist that we've been really wanting for a while, and it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna feel really good when it happens and see all of our artists up on the billboard. And just be like, yes, we finally did it, but we did it. And then there's just all these other checklist items that just make us feel like we're doing what we're doing, and like we know what we're doing. And so I think that's my favorite part, like that validation, I guess.
The sense of satisfaction when you finish that thing.
Yeah, and specifically last semester, I worked a lot with the marketing of Nia Kiona's Electric 21, and it was kind of just like watching it broil, if you know what I mean, like sizzle. And then we got her a placement on a playlist, and it like made the streams go up a bunch, and
Really?
like just her satisfaction of that is enough for me. And so if I can continue to replicate that, even though that wasn't necessarily my playlist pitch, but like if the teams that we build around that can continue doing that, like that's worth it to me.
So what is it like juggling being a marketing director and being your own artist, Stargirl?
It's pretty difficult, I would say, especially because if I get motivation in my marketing like brain, or like kind of putting my energy towards other artists, the other one will tend to like drain out, and vice versa. But specifically last semester, I really didn't do anything involved with my artist self, and I thought I was gonna have a lot more time to like develop my artist Stargirl more, but I just didn't. And I found that I like really liked what I was doing with the marketing and like just learning. I'm trying to soak in as much as I can before I leave. And because I feel like, especially with the beginning of my college career being in COVID, I just never got to soak it in like this. And so I'm just like, I'm a sponge.
Right.
And to me and my brain, my artist self can continue to be a sponge after I like really soak in what this knowledge is. But I'm finding a better balance specifically this semester, but that could be because my course load is like a less heavier one.
Right.
I would say it's kind of just, it's finding what excites me about both of them and kind of putting the energies that I find excitement in of both of them into the other one as well.
So before these two recent performances of yours, you hadn't performed in about a year. How does it feel being back into the performing sphere?
It feels really good. I thought I was really nervous for my performances, but I just needed to practice. I just needed to practice again and be like, I actually know exactly what I'm doing. And I know exactly, I feel so good on stage. I'm a theater kid. I just want to be performing and sing a stupid song on stage. And I feel like I get in my head before, but then I'm doing it and I'm like, I know exactly what I'm doing. So yeah, it feels really good, and it's felt really good for all the support that I've been getting, specifically like the support system that I've gotten from MTM. Like we all love supporting each other in all of our endeavors, and so it's been really nice.
So how would you describe your sound?
My Stargirl sound, I would describe it as like pop rock, pop synth, indie pop. There's just a lot of pop, but there's rock influence.
Right.
There's indie influence. I sound a lot like Clairo in my last single. But
Plug it.
Well, you can listen to my last single on all streaming platforms.
Okay.
At Stargirl.
Real.
So yeah.
When did you start being an artist? Did you start before MTM or when you joined?
I released my first EP in 2019, and I kind of been making music since I was like 16, 17. But I only really started taking myself seriously once I got to college and I was actually supposed to go somewhere else. But then once I ended up here at Georgia State in my program for music management, I was kind of like, maybe I should do what we're learning in class and do that to my own artist stuff. Brain explosion.
Right.
Like maybe you should put what you've learned into effect.
Right.
So that's kind of when I took myself seriously. And also I changed my name from like my personal name to Stargirl once I was in college. So that's kind of, I would say like 2019, 2020 is like really when this started getting like, I want to do this and I could do this.
And now you are doing it.
And here we are, we're doing it.
So after MTM, what does your future look like? Would it be more marketing? Would it be music? Or would it just be both?
In a perfect world, in my dream, I'm an artist already, I know I am an artist, but I'm making a living off of that. But, you know, we're not there yet, and that's okay. Gonna let that simmer. So I really want to get into like social media advertising. I run the MTM Instagram, and I really love like putting together social media branding. And so I've kind of always wanted to work for a branding company, even maybe possibly opening up my own, but at the same time, like somehow finding a way to also be an artist and still do that. It's going to be like my side gig for a while, but you never know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So maybe something crazy will happen and I will be doing a bunch of artist stuff, or maybe something crazy will happen and I'm working for a really big company I would like to work at like a label or a music group for their
Mhm.
like marketing just to see. And if I hate it, then I hate it and I leave.
Right.
So,
But
yeah.
regardless, you still want that music into your
Yeah,
life.
I to me, it's like nothing else is interesting. Like people will start talking promotion strategies of
Right.
albums, and I'm like, yes, I need this. I want to keep talking about this. Like not just because I love the music, but I don't know, I'm weird. I like the marketing. I
Mhm.
want to. I love seeing good marketing for something. I love seeing bad marketing. You know,
Right.
I love when artists don't do a good job.
And you're like,
know?
oh, I know what you did not do, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Or like you can see sometimes like where they could have gone, but you know,
Mhm.
we're not in their shoes, so we don't know. But
Right.
yeah, I see myself always being in this like music sphere.
Hmm. Is that why you came to Georgia State for the music?
Yeah, so COVID happened and my original plans didn't work out, and
Mhm.
so music management was the easiest. Like I wanted to be a music production student, but looking back on that, I could have never ever done that. I'm not a production person at all. And I wouldn't have gotten in. But I came here, music management student, and basically it's like a music marketing
Right.
degree. We are learning a lot of like we learn the legal aspects of the music and I'm just naming classes at this point. Legal
ahead.
aspects of the music industry, entrepreneurship in music, copyright and publishing, like intro to the music industry, just so many. It's all marketing.
Mhm.
Like in my brain, promotion of recorded music, like everything was just like fitting into this large funnel of marketing. So I was like, you know, I'm good at this and I like this, so this is what I do want to continue doing. And that is why I came here, because, you know, the program was available and there's not a lot of, at least in 2020 when I was looking, there was not a lot of like music marketing programs, I think, or unless I wanted to go to like some big really expensive school
Right.
and like have a bunch of loans. But I'm from Georgia, so coming to GSU was like very easy and accessible to me. It was all meant to happen this way.
Right.
Because I think without GSU, I like wouldn't have become Stargirl
Mhm.
and like done this whole thing. Like we wouldn't be sitting in the room right
We
now.
wouldn't have been sitting
We
here.
wouldn't be sitting here. So
God.
yeah, it was all meant to happen.
So, in 2021, you performed for 88 sessions. Tell me a little bit more about that.
That was the first time I ever really did something on GSU campus. I genuinely, prior, had locked myself in my apartment. But my friend, I knew the person who was the director at 88, and they were like, you should perform. I had just released a single, like my first single in college, which was V-Day, which you can also stream on all streaming platforms. And it was really exciting because I got to put together like a stage plot. And also at the time of 88, they weren't doing live audiences. So it kind of felt better to just like be with the people that were going to work on the production itself. And also it was kind of like really good promo. I was releasing Nebula in December, and so like this was like a really good gear up to, I performed basically half of the album and like for the most part unreleased, except for like 2 or 3 songs. And it was really good, and like being on the radio was cool, and like
Right.
my parents got to listen to me and my sister did, which is cool. And it was also one of my first times mingling with people that were in the music sphere at GSU, and like I really enjoy performance, even though I get nervous for it. And I really enjoyed, like I brought my purple locker up there, and like I created a whole aesthetic I felt. And it was fun. Like it's really fun to like pretend I'm in this fantasy that I'm like some like really famous pop star.
You are.
Yeah, right. We already are.
Oh, I like.
But so that was kind of like living that fantasy out, and it just felt really nice to get that support back, especially from the people that ran 88. They were like, "This was so good," and like your voice, and yeah, it was great. It was good.
Would you do that again later on in your career, or?
I would do it many, many, many times. I wish I was more involved in 88, and so anything that I can do, like I want to be there because I just think it's so cool, and the people that are running 88 like really care about it, and so I love that.
Yeah. So as we begin to wind down in this interview, is there anybody you'd like to thank? Plug your socials, shout outs.
I'd like to thank everyone at MTM, everyone on the team. And then my socials, you can follow MTM Standard on Instagram, on X, on TikTok at MTM Standard GSU. And you can follow me, Channing/Stargirl, at Stargirl Music on all platforms. And it has 2 S's for Stargirl. And also, thank you to you. Thank you to Wes and back there. Thank you to Ben and Thrash for teaching me. Thank you to everyone that's involved. And yeah.
Well, once again, thank you for being here. And as we wind down, this is now Split by Stargirl.
I've been thinking as of text back. Don't want no ex black. Make up my mind, then I decide should not have said that. Be sure you act fast. I might not be back. Make up my mind, then I decide I should have said that. Go get lost, then go. Stargirl split, take a hit, then move on. Go get lost, then go. Stargirl split, take a hit, then move on. Tell me how I'm supposed to feel when I'm 19 and I don't know what's real, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Just my best friend, her boyfriend and me. We're doing nothing but smoking trees, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I met these friends downtown last week. They like playing games till the early morning, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. My life's good, it could be better. I do dumb to get out of gloomy weather and tell my mama I'm sorry for cussing in the song. She don't like it when I sing about dirty things and drugs. But I'm fine with it. I think I'm fine with it. Moved to this new place last week. It's a dreamland with all the city buildings, and I'm fine with it. I'm more than fine with it. Just my roommates, the cats and me. All we do is watching dumb movies, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I feel much better than I have in weeks. I've been going to bed like super early, and I'm loving it. Loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. My life's good, it could be better. I do dumb to get out of gloomy weather and tell my mama I'm sorry for cussing in the song. She don't like it when I sing about dirty things and drugs. But I'm fine with it. I think I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. off the band-aid on this wound that has been caused by you. Don't ever have to do it. And I didn't even care, so I'm like la da 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 da. And I don't care like da 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 da. I think I should ripping up the I think I should da 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 da. And I don't care like da 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 da.
What you just heard here on MTM Review on album 88 was Cut You Loose by GSU artist Mumblebee. Before that, we had Split and Fine With It by Stargirl, who was also our second interview guest for tonight. As always, with any comments, questions, or concerns, you can call the station during business hours at 404-413-9727. That's 404-413-WRAS. Or, if you would like to contact this show specifically, you can email me at wes7629@gmail.com. Again, that email is wes7629@gmail.com. All right, that about wraps it up for this week's show. The show ordinarily airs every other week. However, due to Anticipation Station being on the next day at this time slot in 2 weeks, our next show will actually be 3 weeks from now, on March 7th, from 9 to 10 p.m. On that episode, our guests will be GSU hip-hop sensation Jazzy the Rapper, as well as MTM lead project manager Paisley Cass. Be sure to tune in. All right, for this episode, our producer, editor, and host is Wesley Barrett. Our co-producer is Owen Reese. Our journalist is Bryan Gallegos, and our engineer is Wesley Barrett. Our opening theme music was Determination by Jonathan Takesley, and our closing theme music is Fall For You by Cameron Cho, both being GSU artists. This program is produced in partnership with MTM Standard Music Group, Georgia State University's student-run record label and sync house. Some portions of this program may be graded schoolwork for students in the College of the Arts. Opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Album 88, MTM Standard, or the College of the Arts. For more information on our continued commitment to editorial independence in all of student media, please visit mtmstandard.com/WRAS. This has been your host, Wesley Barrett, with MTM Review on Album 88. See you on March 7th.